Before we get too much further, we do have to address the shooting that happened at the NFL headquarters building. And, you know, right now there's a lot of information flying around here. I'm not really going to comment more on that at this time. Just, you know, always want to make sure, you know, thoughts and prayers are going out to the families of everyone affected. The first week of NFL training camp is officially under our belts here. We have had some injury scares, some injuries, and some major news. So we're going to be breaking down everything that's happened here in the first week. So let's jump right into it. As I mentioned in another video, Micah Parsons is currently holding in the Dallas Cowboys training camp while he negotiates a new contract. It seems like it's not going very well. It seems just a lot of back and forth, but the Cowboys are kind of notorious for waiting to the last second. They did it with CD, they did it with Dak, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do it with Micah here as well. However, it appears there are two more camp hold-ins. It looks like Terry McLaurin has shown up for Commanders camp. He's going to be holding in as well, just like Micah is. And it's also being reported that Trey Hendrickson is also going to be holding in as well, and he's going to be actually coming to Cincinnati Bengals camp. This is great news for Bengals fans because I think this means that the ball might get rolling a little bit quicker here, but it comes on top of the better news that Shamar Stewart did sign his rookie deal. So they have their first round pick all signed in the building. Now they just have to get Trey taken care of, and I think the Bengals actually have a good shot here this year. The real question, though, is how long is the deal going to take for Terry and Trey both? Micah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the day before week one, in all honesty. I would not be shocked with how Jerry operates. But the other two, Commanders have a new ownership group. This is really like the first time we're seeing this happen under this ownership, so we'll see how they handle it and if this is going to set precedent in the future. As for Trey Hendrickson, Mike Brown is kind of Mike Brown, so you know what you're dealing with. I mean, in some things I agree with, where if you're in jail, you shouldn't be getting paid, but in other things, you should also just be getting paid for how well you've done. This is Trey's real last opportunity to get a major contract, so I understand why he's playing a little bit more of hardball here rather than just giving in to Mike's demands. I really want to see Trey on that Bengals line because, again, him and Stewart should be great together, so we'll see what happens there. Scary news out of Texans camp. Joe Mixon did injure his foot, and it looks like it might keep him out long term. D'Amico Ryans did say they are going to reevaluate him a little closer to week one, but that's going to really tell at that point where we're at. Is this something that they're just trying to hold him out of training camp, or is it a serious injury that's going to take a few weeks into the season? That leaves the Texans running back room with Nick Chubb, Dameon Pierce, and rookie Woody Marks, who some Texans fans think he could be the truth. Others are a little more skeptical. I really don't know. I always want to judge players once, you know, there's actual football being played in the preseason, but I digress. Signing Nick Chubb now seems like a very smart move by Nick Caserio, and we'll see how effective he is. After his knee injury 2 years ago, he did not come back as the same player. It's also scary because the Texans relied on their run game very heavily last year, even with their very bad offensive line. Not to mention they have a new offensive line this year who have been photoed doing push-ups after the last few days of practice. Not a great sign here. They need Nick Chubb to be the old Nick Chubb before his knee injury. And like I said, he did not come back the same player. He did not seem to be finding the holes and being able to get to that next gear. But some videos out of training camp make it look like he is regaining that strength. Either way, for Texans fans, they are hoping that the Mixon injury is not serious and that he comes back by week one, maybe week two at the latest, but again, it's going to be all determining on what that evaluation before week one looks like to see really what's going to be happening with Joe Mixon. And some quarterback news out of New York for both teams. Justin Fields narrowly escaped injury. It looks like he injured his toe the first day of training camp, but he has not been hobbled by it since, so it looks like he's good to go there, so he narrowly avoided a major injury. On the other side of MetLife, the Giants named Russell Wilson the week one starter, so there is no competition between him and Jackson Dart. They took Jackson Dart as kind of a project quarterback to possibly compete with Wilson for that job, so it could be a further chasm than we are expecting, so it could be a while before Jackson Dart actually sees the field. I wouldn't be surprised if they give Russell a few weeks, and if they are losing, because the Giants have a very hard schedule. I'm not going to deny it. They have a very tough schedule. So I wouldn't be surprised if Russell gets the boot and then Jackson gets thrown in, but he is not going to be the starter anywhere near week one. So that is going to give some assurance to Giants fans as well as fantasy owners which way they should go when it comes to the Giants quarterback room. avoid it at all costs. Some crazy news coming out of Las Vegas. The Raiders released Christian Wilkins. First, the story was that he was not rehabbing his foot properly, and then there were videos of him, dancing around in a weight room, so there were some questions of, was he taking it as seriously as possible? Then there was another story that came out that he apparently kissed a player on the top of the head, and that player took offense to that and went to HR, and now they're releasing him because of it. He was one of the top free agents last year. There are rumors that Mike Vrabel may bring him to New England because he was recruiting him when he was coaching at Ohio State, so they kind of have a relationship. So if the Patriots do get him, that would be a very solid defensive lineman for the Patriots that would basically help elevate their rebuild a little bit quicker. They're going to be a little bit better with Christian Wilkins there. That's just me. A couple stories out of Cleveland as well. Kenny Pickett suffered a hamstring injury in practice. He's going to be out a few weeks. That is going to really put a lot more pressure on the two rookies in Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders in that quarterback competition going on with the Browns. So far, it looks like Joe Flacco has been taking the QB1 snaps, as many people have expected. I expect him to be the starter, kind of like the Russell Wilson situation, that he's going to get a few weeks, and if he doesn't perform very well, then they're going to give him the boot. So I'm not going to be really shocked if he's named the starter. But this is really going to give more reps to Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, so it's really going to be a question if they step up. The Browns already said they're not going to sign another quarterback due to the Pickett injury, so they really do feel solid with whoever they're going with. So whoever's leading in the QB2 battle, they feel very confident with them. The other story out of Cleveland is that rookie running back Quinshon Judkins is reportedly under investigation for domestic violence, which is never great. And with any situation like this, you always want to take allegations seriously, and we also need to wait for the evidence to come out before we render any judgments. That's how we should always operate. And a last little bit of news out of Tennessee. The Titans do get another meme because they released Treylon Burks. Now, the reason this is a meme is because they traded A.J. Brown to the Philadelphia Eagles. They used one of the picks that came back in that trade on Treylon Burks as the potential replacement for him. He didn't replace A.J. Brown. You can't replace A.J. Brown. That man is very good at the game of football. With that, now, the Titans receiver room gets even thinner. Their big three are Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, and Van Jefferson. Those are their three receivers now with Burks gone. Not instilling a lot of confidence in that room. They could be targeting a veteran, maybe like a Keenan Allen possibly, but if they're going to do that, they might want to do that now, because the longer they wait in training camp, the worse it's going to be, and they're going to have less time to develop into that offense and gain that chemistry, which is huge. But those are the major storylines I saw this week. Anything I missed, let me know down in the comments down below. I'm going to be doing more videos, like I said, as training camp goes on. Once more things start happening, I'm going to be doing those twice a week. So make sure you tune in, make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. Share this video with your friends, any sports fans you know, and until the next one, have a good one.